everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about colorism platforms and the colorism discussion I see online. I'm not talking about all dark-skinned or light-skinned women. I'm just talking about what I see online with the whole colorism aspect. I'm going to be talking about the dynamics in the African American community only and my perspective as a light-skinned biracial. So I think the colorism movement is a good idea for dark-skinned people, for how they see themselves and see their dark skin. I think it's good for dark-skinned people to have their own space where they can discuss their own issues. I don't really have a problem with that. Looking at these platforms, I thought they could help people, help them reframe how they look at things. But there were, some things that didn't quite sit right with me, so I'm going to be giving my perspective on that. I think sometimes dark-skinned black men are included, but mostly it is an issue that dark-skinned women discuss to do with themselves. In the colorism hierarchy, dark skin is seen as more masculine and aggressive and animalistic. So this is a notion that came from racism against black people. So this is seen as a good thing for dark-skinned men and a bad thing for dark-skinned women. And I mean, those traits being seen as a depiction of masculinity, it just raises my eyebrows. So, and lighter skin is seen as more feminine, so this is just where this whole thing starts and lives in. The colorism platform makes dark-skinned men and light-skinned women out to be the prize, and it makes them out as the main enemy due to an internalized insecurity, in my opinion. And when I say light-skinned, I'm talking about biracial or mixed women or people. Many of the time with the colorism platforms, it seems like they're seeking validation from men, and that's one of the main reasons I don't relate to the idea. I don't think you should need validation from other people, in my opinion. It seems like a desperation and like you're begging other people to pay attention to you to feel good about yourself. I think they don't find themselves that appealing, so that is why they're yearning for outside validation and think that's all they really need to feel good about themselves. I don't think that's the solution. I think you should feel adequate yourself and have a good self-esteem, but many of these people don't appear to have a good self-esteem. I don't look to black men for validation. The attention that I do get is more like harassment most of the time. I don't look to any race of man for validation unless I'm looking to get into a relationship with them. So to me, I don't know why I would look to men who, I don't even really know, for validation. So the main issue I see discussed on colorism platforms is that certain dark-skinned black men don't show any preference for dark-skinned black women and prefer light-skinned women, mixed and biracial women, but why do they? The issue is that both dark-skinned men and dark-skinned women want to be light-skinned, and they have an internalized hate toward their skin color. That's why both dark-skinned men and dark-skinned women have an insecurity against lighter-skinned people of their same gender. Dark-skinned men practice the same sort of thing toward light-skinned men. I'm not saying all dark-skinned men and dark-skinned women. There are dark-skinned people that are secure and happy with themselves. I'm speaking specifically on the people that have an issue with being dark-skinned. Light-skinned women aren't dark-skinned men, so I never understood why they take issue with light-skinned women when colorism never really came from light-skinned women. It came from dark-skinned people with an inferiority complex. I mean, you feel inferior and that's your own problem. If it's an issue from within, don't you think you should work on that instead of looking to other people? They like to speak on light-skinned women's perspective and how they experience life, but they aren't able to know that because they don't live life as a light-skinned woman. They never get a perspective from light-skinned women. They just assume what they're thinking and experiencing. They say light-skinned women have privileges that they don't have. How would you know that what light-skinned women experience is a privilege? And on these colorism platforms, they point out behavior from light-skinned women that is colorist or maybe colorist. And yes, many light-skinned women have been colorist, so have many brown-skinned women and many dark-skinned women. that means they've been hurt from something, that they suffer from white supremacy. To me, to take issue with people who are a marginalized group of your same demographic is disingenuous. And they also point out that light-skinned people are put on a pedestal in the black community and it goes unappreciated, which, yeah, I experienced that. To me, it didn't seem genuine. It seemed like it was more out of an insecurity. So it was unwanted. It was just kind of awkward. It made me feel a bit uncomfortable. It was more of like a fetishization, uh, which to me is disrespectful. To have a hierarchy based on where people who have self-hate put people at is meaningless to me. It's not really light-skinned people's fault that they're put on a pedestal. It goes back to dark-skinned people embracing themselves and their own skin color. In the colorism discussion, light-skinned people are often referenced as uplifting themselves, as putting dark skin down. My issue with that is light-skinned people can't put the value in dark skin as a positive thing. Other people can't really determine if dark skin is ideal or not. I think that as a dark-skinned person, you should see yourself as ideal and not worry about what everyone else is thinking. Your own opinion of yourself is the one that matters the most. If you're not able to see yourself as ideal, then other people aren't going to. Often what you'll find is colorism is perpetuated by dark-skinned people, and to me it looks like light-skinned women are used as a scapegoat when really they just have the same form of self-hatred, in my opinion. Dark-skinned people, they often seem upset about their skin color and prefer light skin themselves. I think this turns to resentment, like they have an issue with light-skinned and mixed and biracial women existing. You know, it's not their fault for existing, it's your fault for being intimidated. I think it's a problem more of how dark-skinned people see themselves. That should be more of the problem, not feeling good about yourself in the first place. You shouldn't blame other people because you feel envious. No one made you envious except yourself. To me, it's like that they're not really grasping who's at fault for how they feel, which is themselves. I think the reason the colorism topic revolves around light-skinned women and colorist black men so much is because they don't really see anything wrong with valuing light skin, and they agree with those men. I think they agree that dark skin is less than, and they agree with light skin being better, but they have an issue with where they fit as a dark skinned woman and how they're concerned. That's why they want to appeal to those men because they have the same way of thinking and they agree with each other. So yeah, I think it's an in-house problem, something taught in families. I don't think they really see their dark skin as beautiful. They're just trying to uplift something that they see as down. And that's where colorism stems from, is them not seeing their own skin color as good. They uplift dark skin to the point where other people can't uplift themselves. And they do this because it's more about other people. They're insecure regarding other people. Working on embracing yourself doesn't mean you need to take anyone else down. That shows that you really don't feel good about yourself, about being dark-skinned. I think it's that they don't work on the problems from within, and instead they're looking outwards. It's not about what light-skinned people do, it's more about what dark-skinned people do. The real problem is the internalized self-hate they have, where they think that black is undesirable and mixed is better. Light-skinned people aren't really doing anything to affect that. The idea that black is undesirable doesn't have anything to do with the existence of light-skinned people. The problem is they have a low self-esteem and they have an issue with being dark-skinned. That's why they attack other women and they hate other women. It's because they refuse to see themselves as ideal and they can't see past feeling inferior. They don't see who puts the value on being dark-skinned. I just think that light-skinned women and dark-skinned women should embrace themselves, and everyone should see themselves as the most ideal and favor their own skin tone. I don't think anyone needs to be put on a pedestal, and we should embrace all skin tones. Alright, so that was my take on this topic. I think that's all that I have. I hope it was interesting, and thanks for watching.